defensive line. They have good players on that defense, and I'll bet Rob Ryan can really make that good. If Nnamdi goes there, I would guess in 3 years, at least one of those 3 years, you'll see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Because then they'd be a well-rounded team with Romo, a good running game, a fair passing game, great defense, fair special teams that can get you into a championship game right now.
Exactly. Let me back you up a little bit on what you said. You said Jerry Jones likes to spend money. Dude, we can talk about this because we didn't get to the last show, but due to the new CBA, that's no longer, an argument in any sense because the cap floor for the next 2 years is 99% of the salary cap. That means that somebody has to spend at least $118 million this year on player personnel, and the most they can spend with the $3 million cap exemption is $123. So
now, did you do that math in your head as we were sitting here, or did you read that before?
No, I didn't.
Dude, seriously?
So that's for the next 2 years. After that, the cap's obviously going to adjust because it adjusts due to NFL revenue.
And the floor percentage was going to go down. Like
the
next
down
2
to
years,
95 after, and starting in year 3. And so, say the cap stays at $120 million, which it won't, but and then at that point, then the cap exemption becomes $1.5 million. Then you have $121.5 million max, or a minimum of $114 million. So then you have a $7.5 million leeway, which still isn't all that much.
It's like one player, one really good player, or like 2 fair players.
That's right. And so it really isn't all that much. And so Cincinnati or Cleveland or teams that don't usually have a high payroll, Tampa Bay, for example, they can't say, oh, well, we don't have the payroll to compete with these guys. Well, you have to. I mean, you have to be, within $7.5 million of the highest team's payroll, as it's going to turn out. And so, the Bucks, from what I heard, have to have $50 million in cap.
Yes, I think it's closer to 60.
Yeah, because they
haven't re-signed anybody yet.
They have such a low team. I mean, their highest paid veteran is probably Rondé Barber.
Yeah, but you know what? They didn't have a bad team last year.
No, they're
probably one of those
out of the playoffs.
Exactly, they're probably one of those teams sitting there. Well, crap, who can we pay? I'm surprised they're not in the Nnamdi race.
People are talking about him, but I don't think Nnamdi wants to go there. And I don't know. I really think that they would, but unfortunately they won't. And that would be a good addition for them. That really would, because it allowed Barber to move back to safety where he'd be a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. It would be a really good safety right now. Because once you get older, you get a little slower.
You lose
that's what they look for in safeties. Is they look for, you don't have to be as fast as a safety, but you have to be smart, and that's what Rondé is.
He is. He's a very intelligent player, and he would be great at safety. Because losing a step in man-to-man coverage is allowing the person to be open. Because NFL quarterbacks don't require that big of a window. It's basically a 12-inch window is all they need, and you lose a step, there you go. You've given them more than that. You just cost your team a touchdown.
And when you get to the elite quarterbacks, they need even less than that. I mean, even if they're on top of you, sometimes you get it. If you can get that step on them, I mean, Peyton Manning will put it in you, Tom Brady will put it in you, Aaron Rodgers. I did that for a reason.
Okay. All right.
Aaron Rodgers will put it in you, and Ridley will put it in you.
Absolutely. I do what I do. I do it well.
Oh,
all right. So, there's your new CBA update as we speak. Another thing that we can talk about, me and Matt were talking about this earlier, is the effects that the rookie salary cap has had on draft picks this year. We found our first example with Von Miller. He's the highest drafted pick to sign a contract so far. He signed for a 4-year, $21 million contract with a team option for year 5. The team option will require him to be paid in the top 10 of his position in that 5th year if they decide to pick it up. So obviously the value of that is unknown at this time. Last year's number 2 pick, Ndamukong Suh, signed a 5-year, and let me backtrack a little bit. Von Miller's contract is completely guaranteed. $21 million is going to him regardless, which is understandable given what I'm about to tell you, and that is last year's number 2 draft pick, Ndamukong Suh, signed a 5-year, $68 million, $40 million guaranteed contract. So his guaranteed money is almost double what Von Miller can make total, and his 1 extra year is worth $47 million.
Wow.
I mean, average per year changes from 5 and a quarter to $13.5 million roughly, 13.6. So there's over $8 million per year difference between contracts.
Wow.
Of course, that could change if Von Miller's option gets picked up and he goes into the top 10 for outside linebackers, which would probably boost them up to about $12 million a year at that point. So that brings the whole total contract to $33 million over 5 years, and he's still $34 or $35 million short of Ndamukong Suh, and not even half of the contract.
And I think that's great. I think that the rookies were getting paid too much. I think this allows, I mean, look at it right now. Let's look at the Tampa Bay situation. They're going to be looking for veterans to pay more money to, and that's exactly who the money should be going to.
That's right.
People who have been there, people who've
commodities. Because teams have seen a bad draft pick in the top 10 can cripple a franchise for a few years. Oakland Raiders, classic example.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell made $32 million from the Raiders and didn't provide any sort of on-field results. Therefore, they're now financially crippled because they had to eat his salary. They had to cut him last year. They paid all this money. Al Davis' corpse had to pay all this money. And, now they have to completely rebuild with Jason Campbell as the quarterback, who's really an undecided quarterback as far as the Raiders are concerned.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, no one knows how good he is or how bad he is. I mean, he's just kind of there. He doesn't do great, doesn't do terrible most of the time.
The Chargers, when they drafted Ryan Leaf, they were at, they didn't have a quarterback to really fill in the position until Philip Rivers came along. They had no notable quarterbacks between Ryan Leaf and Philip Rivers. And that was probably a 7-year gap at least.
Yeah.
And so, choosing wrong in the
they
top
had
10.
Drew Brees in there for a
Oh
little
yeah, that's
while.
right. Okay, I forgot. They did have Drew Brees. And
But even when he was there, I mean, he wasn't as amazing as he is now.
No, he wasn't. After he came back from shoulder surgery and went to the Saints, that's when he started to really pick it up. He was still a good quarterback, but he wasn't an elite quarterback.
Yeah, he met up with Sean Payton, did a lot better, and that was kind of what did it.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a short break. This is where you drink. Since we've been going on for over a half hour now, we encourage you to chug at least half your beer if you're listening at home. Since I forgot to do the whole mile marker thing, I get caught up in my speech.
So you get caught up listening to you. I get caught up listening to you as well.
Exactly, and I was looking in the mirror too. It's a fabulous sight. Anyways, go ahead, drink at least half your beer. We're going to and resume with segment 2, starting whenever you guys want to press the button, really. All right.
Yeah.